Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Brawl in Cell Block 99. This is a new film from S. Craig Zoller, who'd previously done Bone Tomahawk. It stars Vince Vaughn, Don Johnson, Jennifer Carpenter and Mark Balukas. It is a story of Bradley Thomas, played by Vince Vaughn, who subsequently loses his job and finds out his wife is having an affair. He decides to give his wife another chance, and they decide that maybe having a baby will make things a bit better, and he decides to take a job working for a drug dealer, selling drugs as a courier. The film skips 2 years ahead. We can see he's doing quite well for himself. Then he's asked to take on a job with two people he doesn't quite trust. He does that anyway, and things go bad. He ends up taking out the two people that he was working with due to them having a gunfight with police, and is subsequently arrested and sentenced to 7 years prison. He goes into prison and everything is okay, or the best that it can be. While he's in prison, his wife is kidnapped, and then a strange, mysterious man visits him in prison and explains to him that he needs to pay the money back that they lost due to him being arrested, and the deal went bad. And he's told that if he doesn't pay back the money, harm will come to his wife and his unborn child. Tell him that the way to make the money back is he has to go to a maximum security prison called Red Flag, and he has to kill someone there in order for the deal to be done. Ultimately, it's up to him to try and get out of minimum security into that sort of maximum security prison. And the way he does that is through attacking one of the guards, attacking a few of the guards, and causing a lot of violence and bloody harm to them, which subsequently leads him to being put into Red Flag. While he's in there, he's treated completely really horrific. He has to do horrific things in order to get to the place or the area that this person's ultimately being held. And bad things happen to him along the way. And he ultimately, it turns into a fight of survival, trying to do everything he can to make sure his wife and unborn child are safe and protected and not hurt in any way. And this leads to an ultimate violent and horrific end for a lot of the characters after that. Look, I liked elements of this. I felt that the acting was really strong. Jennifer Carpenter was really good. It's good to see her in other things. The last thing I really saw her in was Dexter, which she was great in, but she does a really, solid performance here. Don Johnson's great as the prison warden of Red Flag. He's, an actor that I do like, and I've liked a number of years, and it's good to see him still acting. But ultimately, the actor that steals the show is Vince Vaughn. What a great performance he gives here. I've never seen him play quite a role like this. Very dramatic and emotional, as well as violent. He says so much without saying a word, which, all the acting is sort of solid. The story's okay, like it follows him going through life and things happening to him and trying to overcome them and better his life. It also looks at when things happen to him, there's like a volcano inside of him that's building and building and building. Unfortunately, it only builds to a point and then we skip 2 years ahead. It takes up again later in the film, which is really great, and what he does throughout this violent, brutal, but it's interesting to watch and follow his character through. His performance, as well as the character that's written, you really care about this guy. You want to follow him. You want to see him get back to his wife and child. You want his wife and child to be safe. And he does really great in this film. He's just solid. His performance is fantastic. And just the way he goes through the film is really great. Look, I like the sort of the greyish colour that it has to it. I like the colours and the look of the film. It's very interesting to look at, and it's very different, and it sort of harks back to the 70s sort of crime films, as well as those sort of noir films. Look, I just love watching Vince Vaughn through this. He's the whole reason that I kept watching the film. If he wasn't in it, I may not have sat through the whole thing. In saying that, look, the things I didn't like about it were that it showed everything. Every minuscule little thing was shown, and the scenes were so long that could have been trimmed down. There was just so much in that I just felt it didn't need. And I do understand there's particular scenes setting up his character and his relationship with him and his wife, which is, I can understand why they're doing that. And they show what he has to go through in order to protect his wife and unborn child. The other thing that I sort of struggled with was the violence. It just felt overly violent for no reason. I understand it's a violent film, they've got to show violence in these sort of movies, but I just felt it was a bit over the top and it was a bit much. There was a lot of really like broken bones and stuff that was sort of ended up looking kind of silly in the end. I just felt it didn't need that much violence to get its point across. And it's like he had to show all of that violence in your face. And due to these long scenes that show everything, the film felt a bit boring and got weighed down quite a bit. It started really strong with his anger building, and I felt that if they had kept that going, that momentum going, it would have been kind of interesting to see where he went character-wise and what happened to him. That would have been a better option. And yes, it does pick up again, towards the end of the film, and what a performance that he gives in that, and what this frustration that builds and builds and builds and builds to this brutal ending that's violent beyond belief. He just loses his shit ultimately. But you want him to sort of win. You want him to get through this. And look, I'm kind of interested, in his character and what happens to him. But the problem is, I just find this director is overly violent for no reason, and I'm not really interested in Bone Tomahawk. I've seen a bit of it, and it just doesn't interest me as a film because it's just really, really violent, and I just don't understand why we need to show so much violence when we can simply, assume what happened but not show everything graphically. It reminds me of Rob Zombie in a lot of ways due to that. So look, final verdict. If you like Vince Vaughn, or a fan of him at all, you may enjoy this. If you're interested in Vince Vaughn playing something completely different and a really interesting character, you may enjoy this as well. This film isn't going to be for everyone. People who like action and redemption and revenge stories may enjoy this, but other people may find it a bit too much. Look, in the end, I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5. And the main reason for the score is it lost points due to it being a bit weighed down and a bit boring in parts, and the over excessive violence in it. And the best thing about it was Vince Vaughn. He's the whole thing that kept me going towards the end. Anyway, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.